So Republican Senator Ron Johnson of Wisconsin took time today during a Senate hearing on the events of January 6th, the Capitol attack, and actually said that fake Trump supporters were at the center of it. The actual Trump supporters didn't really play a role. This is 100% a lie, and he did it in the middle of a Senate hearing.
A broad cross-section of Americans, mostly working class by their appearance and manner of speech, some people stood out. A very few didn't share the jovial, friendly, earnest demeanor of the great majority. Some obviously didn't fit in, and he describes four different types of people: plainclothes militants, agents provocateurs, fake Trump protesters, and then disciplined, uniformed column of attackers. I think these are the people that probably planned this. He goes on, the D.C. Metropolitan Police were their usual professionally detached selves, standing on curbs or at street crossings and exchanging an occasional greeting from marchers. When we crossed First Street Northwest to enter the Capitol grounds where the Capitol Police had jurisdiction, I noticed no police at all. Several marchers expressed surprise. The openness seemed like a courtesy gesture from Congress, which controls security. That appearance of low threat level made no sense. Yet no Capitol Police appeared anywhere from what we could see. Now, again, I'm taking these excerpts in order, but there's a lot more to this piece. What looked like tens or even hundreds of thousands of people surged down the avenues as far as one can see, but almost everyone seemed talkative and happy. No police could be seen on the platform for now. No police could be seen anywhere. People kept surging in from Constitutional Avenue, and the plaza quickly filled up and overflowed onto the lawn. Everyone squeezed closer and closer together, with most in high spirits. Some trouble began up in the front, near the base of the inaugural platform itself, but we could not see what was happening. Then something happened at the front of the crowd. It seemed like a scuffle, but from 40 feet back I couldn't see. People started chanting USA, USA and other slogans. For a few seconds I saw what looked like police in a tussle with some of the marchers up front, what appeared to be an organized group in civilian clothes. This organized group are the cell I would call the plainclothes militants. They fit right in with MAGA people. Suddenly, energy surged from the front of the crowd as the anti-riot police, above on the inaugural platform, visibly tensed up. One fired a tear gas canister, not at the plainclothes militants in the front line, but into the crowd itself. Then another. Flash grenades went off in the middle of the crowd. The tear gas changed the crowd's demeanor. There was an air of disbelief as people realized that the police whom they supported were firing on them. What are you doing? We support you, someone yelled. All of a sudden, pro-police people felt the police were attacking them, and they didn't know why. More tear gas. A canister struck a girl in the face, drawing blood. The pro-police crowd went from disbelief and confusion to anger. I'll stop there. The last 5 pages is titled, Provocateurs Turn Unsuspecting Marchers into an Invading Mob. So I'd really recommend everybody in the committee read this account, and I asked that it be entered into the record. But Chief Sund, I want to ask...
So I played you a fairly lengthy clip there because I wanted to give you the context. What this man is doing is reading a report, and I'll tell you a little bit about it in a second, but he's reading a report that basically suggests, on the one hand, the vast majority of people there were peaceful Trump supporters and other conservatives that had concerns about 2020, felt that it was not appropriate, and were peacefully protesting in favor of Donald Trump, but that a small group of agent provocateur people on the left, combined with police officers being too rough with the peaceful Trump supporters, led to all of the bad things happening. And that in actuality, none of this was meaningfully caused by anyone that actually supported Donald Trump. That's what he's saying here. Now, of course, Johnson is just reading a report, so I guess you could technically say, and maybe Johnson is doing it in this way, to give himself cover, to say, oh, I'm not saying these things, I'm just reading a report. But in reality, Johnson is opening up his remarks during a hearing about the Capitol riots, where we're hearing from police officers and other people involved on that day, and saying it's all fake. The Trump supporters weren't real. They were just people on the far left. The police officers were far too mean to these good, decent, working class Trump supporters. And that's why they got angry, because how dare the police officers treat them so poorly when these people are some of the biggest supporters of police. Now, this is some reporting that gives you some context. It says here, Johnson started out his questioning of ex-Capitol Police Chief Steven Sund by referencing an article published at conservative news outlet The Federalist last month that claimed quote-unquote fake Trump supporters were present at the Capitol riot, who the author presumed to be leftist agitators. Johnson cited the article's author, J. Michael Waller, who claimed that the crowd was mostly positive and festive and not an angry mob with the intention to commit violence. Johnson then read aloud a section of the article that suggested Capitol Police were negligent in their response and incited the crowd. So basically, what Johnson is saying here is that Trump people are innocent. If they did anything wrong, if the Trumpers did anything wrong, it's the police's fault. And this is so rich, guys, because Johnson and other Republicans are 100% the type of people that would never, ever, however deserved, blame the police when they mistreated protesters on the left, or protesters for Black lives, or even just Black people who find themselves victimized, by excessive police force. He would always give police the benefit of the doubt. Yet when we have verifiable video and so much evidence, more evidence than I've seen from any other sort of event like this ever, of literal Trump supporters attacking the Capitol, law enforcement, he finds a way to blame them. So he's like, look, if this was real, it was just the left. And if Trumpers were actually involved, it's the police's fault. And that's what he's saying here. He could just spread lies. We know what happened on that day. Trump supporters, on the explicit order of Donald Trump and Rudy Giuliani and other conservatives, went at the Capitol in a thuggish-like manner to stop the processes of democracy. That's what happened. There is no nuance. Trump supporters attacked the Capitol because Trump wanted them to. That's what happened. It was all Trump supporters. Now, I'm not saying that everyone there that day wanted to do that. There were thousands of people there in Washington protesting, and only a portion of them actually went into the Capitol building and on the Capitol grounds. Lots of people peacefully protested, but the people in the building were Trumpers doing Trump's bidding. There was no left-wing presence. There wasn't this secret provocateur process. The police officers, if anything, were far too lenient. They were far too lenient with these thugs. There were some of them taking selfies. Like, if these were Black Lives Matter protesters, there would have been a lot more force used. Ron Johnson apparently can just lie without consequence on a Senate hearing about this crucial event. But there is one way you can give him consequences, and this goes to the people of Wisconsin. This guy is a senator in Wisconsin. It's not even a red state. Trump barely won Wisconsin in 2016, and historically, in federal politics, it's been pretty blue. He is far too insane a senator to be representing such a moderate, blue-leaning, but at the very worst, purple state, and he must be defeated. This is one of those seats that has to send a message. The people of Wisconsin, who this man and other Republicans tried to disenfranchise by trying to suggest that, the election wasn't fair in Wisconsin or whatever, they need to put their foot down and say, this man does not represent us. Defeat him in 2022 so he cannot spread harm and lies and hate from the Senate floor and from Senate chambers.